Hi, and thanks for joining me today. Today we're going to be talking about Chitta Vritti, or individual conscious fluctuations. In the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, Patanjali talks to us about the mind and the body and how we are not our mind or our body, but rather we are awareness in which everything is arising. Now, this is a dualized take on something that we later find out is very non-dualized, but it's a great place to start. Chitta Vritti is your individual conscious, your conscious fluctuations. The word Sat Chit Ananda means true universal conscious bliss. And this is the nature of all beings. Sat Chit Ananda, awareness in which all is arising. When we are manifest through karma into these physical bodies with these physical brains, we see things through the lens of our perception and our story. This is what brings us to Chitta Vritti. In the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, Patanjali tells us that there are 5 different types of Chitta Vritti. There's truth, perception, verbalization, memory, and sleep. Truth is universal truth. It is simply true. A tree is a tree is a tree. No matter where you go in the world, a tree is always going to be a tree. In Arabic, it's going to be a different word, but it's going to mean the same thing, tree. Our perception of the tree is unique to our karmic experience. I like the tree. I don't like the tree. That's based on my experience and my perception of the experiences I've had. Really, when I decide whether I like something or I don't like something, I'm going into the past. I'm actually going into the latent karmic impressions of the unconscious mind. The third type of mental fluctuation, according to Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, is verbalization. It's the story we attach to our perception of reality. Verbalization can be anything because it's really imagination. It's actually not even found in any shred of truth. It's just how we rationalize our perception of the world. The next mental fluctuation we encounter is memory. And memory is an amalgam of truth and perception and verbalization and even unconscious material. Patanjali says the 5th and final type of mental fluctuation is the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind is connected directly to the astral plane or our emotional body. And the unconscious mind drives the show many times without us even knowing. Patanjali says that when we can use yoga and the kleshas, the 5 veils of illusion, to discern what is truth apart from all of the other mental fluctuations, then we can begin to release our attachments. This is something that we use quite frequently in our trainings. We identify what is true, and we identify the perception that we have. What has that perception caused with regards to the way we judge ourselves and the world? Now remember, judgment can be good or bad. I can judge myself to be great. I'm a great person. Or I can judge myself to be bad. I'm a horrible person. Then I attach a story to it. Oh my God, I'm great because of this. Or, oh my God, I'm horrible because of this. None of those things are true. The only thing that's actually true is I am a divine being in a human experience. If you don't like the word divine, you could say, I am a being in a human experience. That's universally true. Every being is in an experience. It might be a being in a human experience, or it might be a being in a cheetah experience. It might be a being in a spider experience, but it's all being in an experience. When we can identify truth apart from our perception and our story, we can let go of those perceptions and stories. It's an old script. It's a misunderstanding. Typically, we suffer because we feel separation. Our perceptions perpetuate this. If I love something, I only feel whole, complete, connected if I have that thing. If I don't love something, I only feel whole, complete, and connected if I don't have to deal with that thing. If I have to deal with a thing I don't like, then I automatically feel separate or less than or incomplete in some way. If I don't have the thing that I love, I automatically feel separate, incomplete, lacking, or flawed. These are the 5 messengers that come up for us when the kleshas are involved in our perception of the world. The kleshas include ignorance, or just not knowing, attachment and aversion, our ego or our individuality, and the fear of death. Now, ignorance is just not knowing. We're only aware of what we're aware of. My ego is designed to keep me alive, and that's why I see myself as separate. But it's really a misunderstanding. Attachment is a result of me enjoying something, and aversion is a result of me disliking something. My fear of impermanence is really a fear of the unknown. And what we have to understand and recognize is that everything that is karmic changes. It's never permanent. The only thing that's permanent is the truth of our being. We are Sat Chit Ananda, true universal conscious bliss. When we become embodied, we mistake our truth to be our physical body, our thoughts, and our emotions. But that's a misunderstanding. Patanjali says we can use the sutras, the 8-limbed practice of yoga, and discernment to recognize the ignorance that clouds our judgment, the attachment to ego, the aversion to unpleasantries, and we can discern when the fear of impermanence is throwing us back into avidya or ignorance. When we start to look at our Chitta Vritti as energetics, we start to see that we spend a lot of time in our Chitta Vritti, and that time we spend in our Chitta Vritti is actually misappropriated energetic prana. We are spending prana on mental fluctuations. The prana that we spend on these mental fluctuations is actually prana that we don't get to spend on the physical embodiment that we are breathing and living through. Our body has just a certain amount of prana in it, and we restore that prana each day based on the food and nutrients we put in our body, as well as the relationships we keep and the quality of things that we experience. If we use all of our prana to wade through the Chitta Vritti, the mental fluctuations, 4/5 of which aren't even truth, we are misappropriating energy to something that is not actually uplifting our experience. When we practice yoga, we redirect that pranic energy back within ourselves to heal our body, to align our energy, and to maintain homeostasis. Through the practice of yoga, we can retune our body back to a more resonant frequency with the earth. That keeps us grounded. When we're grounded, we can see clearly, and we can respond rather than react. I hope you found this video lecture helpful. Be well, yogis. Namaste.